And it now comes in PM and mini. Is that right? I think so. This is Shanti from Shanti TV. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Shanti and I have not been putting out videos every week. We are in the month of July. There are a lot of people taking vacations, including myself, and so I had to give YouTube recording a little bit of a break, and I will be going on vacation again. So July is going to be a little bit sketchy when it comes to videos, but that doesn't mean that I don't want you guys to stick around and watch all the other videos that I have up on my channel. But normally I put out videos every week, or I try very, very hard to. This channel is mostly about bags. That's what I mostly talk about. I do want to get out of the bag discussion all the time and kind of get into some other things. So if you want me to start talking about other things, let me know what other topics you might be interested. Leave it down in the comment below. But mostly we talk about bags here. I really love clothing. I really like to talk about the challenges of getting older and some of the things that brings to your life. I like just talking about general life and yeah, tips and tricks to, I don't know, lead a better, healthier life. They say the youth is wasted on the young. I don't want to offend anybody out there that's watching me that's young, but gosh, if I knew what I know now back when I was in my 20s and 30s, yeah, things could have been or may have been different, but I don't want to focus on that because I'm here now, and had I not gone through all those things, I wouldn't be where I am today. So that's where we are. Since we're in the month of July and there are a lot of vacations and a lot of traveling happen, I thought now would be a really, really good time to do a wear and tear review video of my 2-year-old in June. In June, it was 2 years old, of my on-the-go GM, which I absolutely use for travel. It's so big, I have to move over to get it into the frame. There are so many travel bags that you can choose from at my favorite brand, which is Louis Vuitton. And I have a couple of different types of travel bags in my collection. I'm not going to get into all of that right now. But I love a really, really good tote. When the On The Go originally came out, I completely stayed away from it because it looked like it was so big, it was so boxy, it was going to be too heavy, and I didn't want to deal with how heavy it was at that time. I, of course, then decided to change my mind because I saw this bag. I saw people carrying this bag. This bag was very, very popular several years ago, and it is beautiful. The bag is just beautiful when you see someone carrying it. It's very professional looking, and I really liked that look, and I decided I was going to add it to my collection. Now I had to make a decision. I had to decide whether I was going to get leather or whether I was going to get canvas, and I decided on the canvas because what drew me into the on-the-go tote was the reverse monogram. So let me show you this beautiful reverse monogram. So on this side you have that beautiful chocolate brown color, and then on this side you have more of like, I don't know, it's a lighter brown, and it's the reverse. It's basically the reverse of the other side. Absolutely love this. I think it's stunning. And you have these huge LV logos on here. This is absolutely not a quiet luxury bag. And then on the sides, you have the little monogram. And then on this side, you have the reverse in the little monogram as well. They also did the same thing with the actual straps. So when you have the dark brown here, you have the light brown straps. And when you have the light brown here, you have the dark straps. Then the interior is this gorgeous, gorgeous red color. I have it filled right now and I need to remove it because we're gonna do this video and basically talk about the wear and tear, but this beautiful red absolutely caught my eye. Now, like I said, I had to make a decision on the leather versus the canvas. I wish I would have brought like a, weight gauge with me so I could have weighed it in the store. And sometimes I think, God, I wish I had the large, so the GM size in the black leather versus this, and then I would have gotten a medium tote because it comes in MM. The on-the-go tote has been so popular that they've given it to us in every size you could have ever imagined. But at the time that I was choosing, I had to choose between the GM and the MM. I thought 100% I was gonna go out and get the MM, and I took my computer with me on that day. And when my computer did not fit, that basically made my decision. So then I had to decide, am I gonna get leather, am I gonna get canvas? Really love the canvas because of the color way. Really liked the black apron, but the reason I didn't choose that one is because in my mind, I thought that would be heavier. I am not sure if that is completely true. It is typically true that the leather is heavier than the canvas. And in this case, I believe it was. I sometimes wish I had the black leather one because there are times when I take this, and I only take this for traveling. I have used it a lot at work. It's very loud. And there are days where I want to be more understated at work and I don't want to be so loud with my bag. And so I wish for that purpose I had the black GM, but this is what I have and I'm traveling. I traveled with it just recently and it was fine. The other thing about this particular bag is on the planes that I have been traveling on, it does not fit under the seat in front of you this way. It will fit this way, but then you have to make sure that it's kind of covered. And normally I carry like a sweater or a jacket or something with me, and I'll just cover the top and clip the top because there is an actual clip here that you can use to clip the tops. And so I will do that. If the bag is too stuffed, then it's very hard to clip it. You can't clip it. So some things to think about. When I've not been able to fit it on the bottom, or if I'm sitting sometimes in the bulkhead and there's nothing in front of me, I can't put it up, then I will put it up above me and it has been fine. No issues there. So the bag has been used a lot. I have used this in the past 2 years many, many times. And so now would be a really, really good time to do a review for you. So I just worked on removing all the things out of this bag. Because this bag is so ginormous, I absolutely recommend having an organizer. This is the current organizer I use. It has a lot of different compartments. It has these two compartments. It has a zippered compartment here. I can actually remove this middle compartment if I wanted. So I like this. It doesn't 100% fit across. I also use this in my Neverfull MM. It is that size, but that gives me room on the side. So if I put this in, it doesn't completely go across. It leaves me enough room to stand up certain things. Let's say I have a bottle of water. I can stand it up on the side, and it gives me kind of different options. So I don't mind that this particular one does not fit all the way across. So if you are buying a on-the-go GM, I highly recommend getting an organizer. It is absolutely helpful. So one of the best things about the on-the-go is the actual ability to have two different straps. You have the short strap and then you have the long strap. And from what I can tell, I have basically very little wear and tear on both of these straps. So I checked the straps, I checked the glazing, Everything looks really good. On the older models, they originally came out with canvas straps, and then on the later models, they came out with the leather straps. This definitely is wearing very, very well. I looked at both of these handles. I looked at the glazing on the handles, and I have to tell you something. This handle, I take this handle and I put it around the handle of my luggage so that it doesn't fall off. And so I'm bending this in all different kinds of ways all the time, and it's not showing wear. The glazing is 100% intact, and I see very, very little wear on this, on the handles, even though I would say in some ways, when you're traveling, in some ways I can be pretty rough on the handles. When you're traveling and you're trying to rush and you're running through the airport, and these days I'm really struggling to run through the airport, but because I'm carrying like heavy things, I'm like, this is a freaking workout at the airport, because my bag is heavy, my rolling bag is heavy, and then this is heavy, and sometimes I'm carrying 2 computers, and so my bags get really, really heavy. When you're running around through the airport, you're not always going to be so careful with your bag. It's just sometimes not possible. But I can tell you that this has stood the test of time on these handles. I don't even see any wear and tear on the handles. They pretty much look like when I bought them. There's probably a little bit of creasing on the leather handles. And by the way, the leather handles, I normally do not use this bag with the leather handles. I only use it for convenience if I need to, but usually it's so heavy that I prefer not to use it that way. There is not any other glazing on this bag except for on the handles. That's it. The rest of this bag is just stitched. If you see that, it's stitched on all sides. So there's no glazing really to be worried about. So if I look at all the sides of this bag, they have held up beautifully. They also have these protective extra corners on here, which also is in reverse. And then it has these studs also, which none of the studs have lost any color at all whatsoever. They all are as shiny as day one. They probably have some micro scratches, which I can't even see, but they all look really, really well. The other thing that you're gonna need to be aware of, because this bag is literally like carrying a box, the corners can potentially have wear on them because they can bump and they can hit things when you're walking. And I am looking at the corners, and you can look at them with me. I am looking at the corners and I see very, very little wear on the corners. Here is the other side. There's very, very little wear on the corners of this bag, which is very, very amazing. Okay, here is the interior of the bag. I wanted to move into the interior, and I'm going to tell you, because I've had an organizer and I don't always use organizers, I'm going to tell you that the inside of this bag has kept very well. The inside is a red fabric, so if you did have something on it, you could wipe it down pretty easily. It does have this one zipper, which is pretty large, and then it has these 2 patch pockets here, which is excellent for putting your phone in. So a lot of times I like bags that I can get to my phone easily. So bags that have like a back pocket or a front pocket. And in this case, in a tote like this, when you have a pocket that's designated for your phone, it's very, very easy to find your phone. And nowadays, with your phone now carrying all your money as well, and the need not to like pull out an actual card to pay for things, your phone is absolutely necessary to have handy with you at all times. So I would give the interior of this bag an A+. It has held up very well. There is no cracks, there's no anything. I mean, it could use probably a slight cleaning, but it's not horrible. for being used quite a bit for 2 years, it looks very, very good. I am very, very pleased with this. Okay, so if you look on the pre-love market, you're gonna see bags like this on the pre-love market that are in extremely poor condition to excellent condition. And I really do think it depends on how many times this thing has been used, how people take care of it when they wear it. Like I said, I don't baby this bag. I am aware that it is a very expensive bag, so I do my best to treat it that way. And I try my best to treat it as well as I can. But like I said, there are certain situations where you're running in the airport or you're running onto an airplane or whatever it is, you're trying to get out the aisle and you don't want to annoy people, that you are trying to do things quickly. And so things could happen. Yeah, the range of bags that I have seen out there is pretty astounding. So that's one thing to think about if you are looking at the pre-love market. The canvas overall is in beautiful, beautiful condition. I do not have any cracking. Here's the bottom. I mean, the bottom looks just as good as it did when I purchased it. I would say the one con that we have is right here. And in all of the on many of the pre-loved items that I have looked at, this has happened on the leather, this has happened on the canvas. I will say this, the canvas has softened up over time. It doesn't feel as stiff as it did when I first bought it, but is still pretty stiff. It's this, the way that they made this, it is still stiff, but because of the way this bag is made, it just naturally creases here. And so I've seen bags that look pretty bad on the sides. You might notice it more here. And so if you are looking on the pre-love market, I would definitely make sure that this looks okay and it's still in good structure. I keep an organizer in it, but I do not believe a bigger organizer would help that problem. I think this is how the bag is. I think this particular point here is going to have that issue just because of how structured this bag is and the way it just naturally has that issue. So I'm not going to be mad at this, but I can tell you I feel like the leather GM bags, I've seen them worse on the sides. They're almost squished in on some of them and they almost look like they're losing its structure. I do not like that on the on-the-go tote, because the on-the-go tote is supposed to be so structured, so I feel like it should stay that way. So just be aware of that if you bang this baby around and just throw stuff in it. And I'm telling you, I have carried 2 laptops in here. I am stuffing this bag sometimes. I try not to carry 2 laptops, but sometimes I have to. I am telling you, it's very important not to just, to be careful with the bag. That is all I'm really trying to point out. So overall, canvas, I give it probably an 8 out of 10 just because of this problem here, which I think it's natural for this bag, but I have seen other bags on the pre-love market that have way worse wear than mine does. I am hoping that mine stays this well, but I don't know. I think it just depends. So the outside, I give it an 8 out of 10. It looks pretty darn good for being used as much as I have used it. On the hardware, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. I do not see anything wrong with the hardware. The inside zipper is a phenomenal. There's not a lot of hardware on here, and so yeah, I give the hardware a 10 out of 10 just because it looks just as good as it did on day one. The interior of the bag, you know what? I'm gonna give it a 10 because it has not done anything it should not have. All of the stitching is intact. I would say the workmanship on this bag is pretty darn good, and so I cannot complain. LV, just remember LV did change out these straps. I think LV was just having a lot of problems with the canvas straps. I think the glazing was probably a mess. It's not, I wouldn't imagine that type of canvas being very comfortable on your shoulder. And so they ended up changing it out with the leather straps, and this leather is very soft. I know that some people hate that it's black. I don't care, because on the pochette métis, if you remember, the pochette métis handle is also black. So black and reverse for me just work fine together. But yeah, I would give the handles a 10 out of 10. They have done very, very well. An overall score, I would give this bag a 9 out of 10, just because it has done very well. You can see I have some creasing on the canvas, which is why I would give it an 8 out of 10. But for the most part, this bag has held up as it should. Now, pricing on this bag is astronomical. This bag used to be in the $2,000 range, and then it took a big jump, I think, for like $1,000, and it is quite pricey. I am not sure about that pricing, but people obviously are still buying it. I bought it at the higher price, which I am so bummed that I missed out on it when it was low, when it was cheaper. And I did have a sales associate try to sell me on it when it had originally come out, and I just said, no, I'm not interested. It's going to be too heavy. It's too big, blah, blah, blah. And then I guess they figured out that they wanted this bag to be a staple in the collection, and it is. They put a lot of time and effort into creating multiple colors. Every time they come out with a collection, they seem to have it on the go in a new print. They have come out with multiple versions of and sizes, and they've even done an east-west size of the on the go. So I think the on the go is just extremely popular, and I'm a tote gal. If I could, I feel like I would own every tote out there just because I love totes. But yeah, I think the on the go is a really great workhorse bag. If you are looking for something like that, this is not a bag that I would carry on a normal day going around grocery shopping, just because it's so large. I think the MM would be great for that. The other sizes, obviously, that are even smaller would be great. But yeah, I would never be carrying the GM around like that. For me, the GM is a travel bag, 100% travel bag. And that's why I wanted to talk about it in the month of July. So that's all. I hope you have enjoyed my wear and tear review on the On The Go GM in the reverse monogram. So with that, I will leave you. I hope you all stay safe. Happy travels, and for those of you who are traveling in the month of July, and I will speak to you next time. Ciao.